Welcome to eDay19. Today is Friday. We are going to be working with 3x3 systems. However, today's we have some missing variables. The two problems are going to be a little bit different, some different strategies for them. Tonight's homework will have some like this and others like Wednesday and Thursday's lesson. I first want you to label your equations just like you have. Now, it looks like none of our equations have the same variables and they all have something that's missing. What I would suggest doing is some substitution. Find a variable that's by itself and let's solve for that variable. So let's take our equation A and let's solve for z. I'm going to subtract my 8x and I get negative z equals negative 8x plus 7. And when I divide by negative sign, I get 8x minus 7. And I'm going to box that because that's going to be helpful. Now what we can do is pick an equation that has a z and replace it. So I'm going to go to my equation C, and I'm going to take my negative 7y minus 2z equals 73. And I'm going to replace the z with what we just found. So replacing our z right here, and that would be negative 7y minus 2, and replace that z with 8x minus 7 equals 73. And we can simplify this. We get negative 7y minus 16x plus 14 equals 73. And simplifying and organizing a little bit more, I think I'll put my negative 16x first, then minus 7y. Subtract our 14 over to the other side to get 59, and let's box that. So now I have two variables. I have x and y. Take a look right now at equation B. Does this have an x and y? And so does this have an x and y. Could we put these two equations together and work with them as a 2x2? So let's take this equation B and this modified equation C. So my equation B is 4x plus 3y equals negative 31. And this modified equation C, I'll put a little star by it, is 16x minus 7y equals 59. Now we have a 2x2 system of equations that have the same variable. In order to eliminate, we're going to have to multiply one of these equations by something. And when I copied down, it looks like I lost my negative sign as I wrote that down. All right, so here what we need to do is we just need to multiply by a positive 4. And let's see what happens from there. We get 16x plus 12y equals negative 124. Now I'm just going to rewrite this equation. We don't need to do anything to it. When we add these two equations up, our x's will eliminate, and we get 5y equals negative 65. And when you divide by 5, you get y equals negative 13. So now that we have one of our answers, what we're going to do is kind of work our way back up. You can plug it into maybe one of the original ones. I think I'll go back just to what I have right here and plug it in. So we have negative 16x minus 7 and replace your y equals 59. And this, remember, is not the only option. You could have gone back to one of your original equations. So we have negative 16x plus 91 equals 59. We're going to subtract 91, and feel free to type this in your calculator. You get negative 32, and divide by negative 16 to get 2. And now to find our last variable, which is z, I'm going to come right over here. We have our z, and now that we know our x, we just found out our x was 2. So 8 times 2 minus 7. So 16 minus 7 is 9, and z is 9. Putting this together as our ordered triple, we have 2, negative 13, and 9. This one's a little bit harder because you really have to think about where you're substituting in and replacing. Now the next one, you can do it the same way, or I can give you another strategy. So let's look a little bit closer at this one. It's different than the one above. And the reason is these two equations both have x's and y's. Two options. You could do substitution and solve for variable, plug it in, or you can do elimination with equation A and B and eliminate a variable. And let's go ahead and try it that way, just to give another option. So I'm going to take my equations A and B, and I'm going to rewrite them. Which variable would you like to eliminate? Can't go wrong. Maybe I'll choose the y, and the reason I'm going to choose the y is they already have opposite signs. I just have to multiply my second equation by 3. So rewriting my first one, and then rewriting my second one, I have 3x plus 3y, and 16 times 3 is negative 48. When I add these up now, I have 5x cancels, and that's going to equal negative 50. Divide by 5, and your x is negative 10. Now that you have your x, could we go back to one of these two equations we were just working with? Maybe we could use the second one. Knowing what your x is, we can find out what the y is. So I'm going to replace my x here with the negative 10. So negative 10 plus y equals negative 16. Add 10 over, so your y is negative 6. So now we can use our third equation that actually has all three variables and replace our x and y and find out what our z is. So replace our x with negative 10. Then minus 2, replace your y with negative 6, plus z equals 7. Negative 30 plus 12 plus z equals 7. Simplifying a little bit more, we have negative 18 plus z equals 7. Add 18 over, and z is 25. So now writing your ordered triple, we have negative 10, negative 6, and positive 25 as our final answer. Now tonight's homework, these are a little bit more challenging. They take some thought on how you want to solve them. Tonight's homework is a worksheet. There are 5 problems. Not all of them have missing variables. It looks like you just have one problem here, the second one, that has a missing variable. The other problem should feel similar to yesterday and Wednesday's lesson. The answer key is posted in your folder. Please let me know if you have any homework or any questions on the homework. Next week we have a lesson, a review, and a quiz, and then we'll continue on. But we spent 3 days on 3x3s. We started that on Wednesday. So hopefully you are feeling more comfortable and confident with it. Please let me know if you have any questions, and have a wonderful